Welcome to Eggcellent Adventures, where I, your host Reec Swiney, take a step away from my duties as a radio and TV personality and give you a first-hand look at my other love, BlackYard Chickenz and homesteading. Take a listen to conversations I have with others who are in farming, homesteading, and connected brands. And some of those conversations go a little like this.
She does say I have too much, though. She says I have too many, but I don't think I have enough.
The chicken math started mathing.
Yep, it's never ending.
I only started with like 4 laying hens. Now I have over 100 chickens and geese and quail.
So the first question we ask everybody that comes on to the Eggcellent Adventures, what was your old cluck moment?
The first thing that comes to mind is when the first time I got locked inside one of my own chicken coops.
We talk about the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Now let's see who's on this episode of Eggcellent Adventures. All right, everybody, we're back here live from Media Campus West for another episode of Eggcellent Adventures. This way, this time, this hour, we are coming live. I'm in Atlanta. She's not. She's in Maryland. One of the fan favorites. This name has come up in about 5 different interviews from about 5 different chicken persons. We have Ray of COVID Cluckers. What's up, mama?
Hey, how's it going? Oh my gosh.
It's going great.
That is quite the intro. Oh my gosh.
Your name does come up quite a bit. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope for good things. So.
Oh, always for good things. Because you know what? It's like some people started right at 2020, right? Shut down. And that's kind of their backstory. So they're like, yeah, you know, COVID Cluckers, COVID Cluckers. So we're assuming that is how you started too.
And it really is.
That's pretty cool. Let's get into it. So the first question we usually ask is, what was your old cluck moment, right? What was that moment you realized you are a chicken person?
Today, honestly, was like that big moment. Because I went to Tractor Supply and they asked me if I wanted chicks, and I was able to say no. I said no to chicken math. And that was like that, oh my gosh moment. Like, I really am a chicken person and I'm having to be responsible as a chicken person.
Yes, responsibility will show you that. That is a cool moment. That's the first time that that's been the chicken moment to say, okay, you know what? No, I don't need more. I have 430. I don't need more chickens.
No, I listen, this year I actually said no to chicken math, and chicken math said yes to me. So I didn't have a choice. I don't want any more. I love them. Don't get me wrong. It's just, it's getting to be overwhelming. And we're kind of playing games because I'm in the city. So I'm like trying to navigate that chicken math and the city permitting and all that.
I got you. Yeah, that could be a hassle too. You got to know your ordinances. It's one of the things we tell people. Know your ordinances, know your city rules, know your HOA if you have one.
Thank God we don't have one.
So you said chicken math chose you. You didn't
did it.
Life. The life chose you this year. What happened? Did you end up hatching some stuff?
So everybody was like, when are you getting more chicks? And I was like, I'm full up, guys. I don't want any more. Like, no, I'm not doing it. Just not doing it. And then I get a text message saying, hey, we found a chick down at the local high school. And everybody who wants this chick wants to eat it. And we don't want the chick to be eaten. So I ended up with a chick. And I was like, okay, well, it needs friends.
That is the most backyard chicken person thing I've heard this year. Well, I got one chick. He needs friends. He just can't be a one piece. He need at least a 6-piece.
Yeah, that's core practice anyway. They need a flock, and I was like, oh my god, okay. Well, I can't get one because if it dies and it's by itself again, and we're back to square one. I was like, okay, we need 2. And so far 2 has been okay. And then my AM Samani just went broody and can't break her. So
wow.
We put eggs underneath her. The chicken math is math, and so bad.
AM Samanis don't usually go broody too. You got lucky and unlucky at the same time if you didn't want more.
I didn't want more, but like her genetics are really, really good genetics, and she is going to make a great mama. I got her from Marissa's Messes. Also, she's known as King's Cocks and the Mother Cluckers.
Yes.
And she's an AM Samani breeder. So it's been very interesting listening to her talk about genetics. But her genetics are that she should be going broody. And she's going to be a great mama.
That's awesome. We got to get her on the show too.
You do. She's a lot of fun. She's wild.
Cool. So I know you started during COVID. What was that story? Give me the backstory.
I've always wanted chickens, and I'm in the middle of the city in Maryland. I'm outside of Baltimore and DC. I'm in the western part of Maryland.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and they had passed a chicken law, and I was so excited because I was telling my husband, I was like, "Oh, we can get chickens," and he's like, "We're not allowed to have them in this part of the city." So like he played that for a little bit until the neighbors down the street got them,
Oh, they
and
told
then
him.
and then I was like, "I want them. I want them so bad." And he said, "No, we don't have time." And he was right. We didn't have time. When the pandemic happened, we had time.
Everybody had time.
And he said no, and I said too bad, and all of a sudden 6 chickens showed up, and then it turned into 8 chickens, and we just went from there.
That's so cool. When you say showed up, I know what happens when chickens just show up at my house. Do they show up with me or in the mail? How did they show up in your account?
I actually went down to the co-op. I did a lot of research, but it was the height of the pandemic, so people were panic buying chicks. And I knew with my poultry permit, I needed to have only hens. I can't have roosters at all, or at the hens that I identify as roosters, that's a little slippery slope, which I do have. But I ended up going down and getting golden comets, which are sex links. So the way they're born is the color of them determines what sex they are. So I got 6 little golden comets. They're all beautiful little girls. And 2 of them got sick with coccidiosis, and I was like, oh my God, they're going to die, and I don't want them to, chicken mouth. And we ended up getting 2 more, and that's when we got a Mars bar and a leg bar and added them to our flock, and that was the origin story of us. It's not as fun as like most people's, but it's what it is. We're in the middle of the city. Our neighbors were so excited. Everybody wanted to see the chicks. They were tired of seeing my Facebook posts of the chicks, and they were like, "You just need to make your own Instagram." So I did, and that's how we got started.
There you go. Graduated from Facebook to a whole COVID Cluckers page, and that's how we met. We met on we met online, and I was like, "Wow, this is a dope page." And I was learning from you and being entertained by you. You guys have some really funny content and stuff like that. I'm glad that they changed the law.
Yeah, a little bit. I've been working with like our alderman to try and get the numbers increased, and he actually lives down the street from me, so he's kind of interested. So we've been doing that for about a year, talking about that. So hopefully we'll be able to have our numbers up from 6.
Cool. Well, luckily eggs don't count as bribes, so you could just,
that's very true. And, well, also it's really neat because the fair by us is a big thing.
Okay.
I'm a school teacher, so they encourage the children to be involved in the county fair. And there is a little blip in the poultry permit that says anything that's a fair project doesn't count towards your numbers.
I love loophole. I love a good chicken loophole.
Oh, me too. I'm all about it. Like, I was that nerd. I love parliamentary procedure. I always look for the loopholes, what I can get away with. So I was like, yes, here we go. So we enter eggs every year. We don't enter live birds, but we enter eggs, and we've placed second a couple times. So that's kind of cool.
That's cool. So what goes into an egg, selecting the right eggs for a fair contest?
I have no idea. I just know that I put my prettiest eggs in there, and I was like, I'm just going to hope for the best. I entered in like 3 categories and hope nobody else is going to enter.
What are the categories? I've never heard of that. I'm like a sponge right now.
It's kind of wild. So there's like your brown layers, there's your like white layers, and then they have like other, which is like your quail and like your rainbow egg basket. And we came in second for having green and blue eggs. I put them in. They were real tiny and they were really cute. They're like medium-sized eggs, so they're like itty bitty compared to like the large eggs. Our brown eggs didn't even place, and that was fine. My girls weren't offended. They were okay with it.
They laid anyway. That's why I love chickens. They're not easily offended.
No, they wouldn't eat them. They were like 10 out of 10 would peck. So they're all about it.
That's what I'm talking about. Who laid those eggs that placed? Like what breed?
Persephone, my little Amsmani, and Artemis, my little cream leg bar.
I love the names. I really love the names. I'm a Star Wars fan too, so I watch your Princess Leia and all the really cool names that you guys have.
Oh yeah, right now we're like on a Greek goddess theme, but every once in a while we get a special one where we're like, okay, I'm waiting for a Kylo hen. That's the big one I'm waiting for is Kylo hen.
I may steal that. I'm just telling you up front.
Yeah, no, go ahead, totally take it. And the cool thing is that Persephone actually was Princess Leia. That was her name, and
Okay.
that's how we ended up getting her. Is I was talking with Marissa, and she was talking about her duck, her Cayuga duck Chewy, and she had a hen solo, and that was one of her roosters. And I was like, "You need a Princess Leia." And she messages me and she's like, "I have one, and she's got a fault. Would you like her?" And I was like, yeah, like,
Of course. Who says no to free chickens?
no, especially like one that's like that well bred and just that beautiful. And I knew she was coming from a good home, and she was just gorgeous. And she knew that we weren't ever going to breed her because she had a tuft, and the tuft gene in chickens is actually fatal if there's two of them.
Okay.
So she knew, because I can't have roosters, that she would be safe with me and have a really good life. Like, she was in the house chilling out, sitting on my couch. My poor husband was like, "Why is there a chicken in the house?"
House birds. You've heard of parrots, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have house chickens.
And he says that, but then I see pictures with him with chickens on his shoulder and stuff like that. So he's not fooling anybody.
Well, he's the reason why we ended up getting the chicken from the high school. He picked her up and he started loving on her. He's like, "I'm not giving her back."
That's hilarious. So it sounds like now he's invested too. So how does he help out? Does the family help out with the chickens and stuff?
It's just the two of us. So he's really good about, if I need something built, he'll go and build everything, and he'll grumble here and there. Mostly I just bring him beer and like whole tools from him. And now he's
speak his language.
Yeah, I mean, like, and he's just real happy. I bring him snacks and just let him do what he's going to do. But he enjoys building things for them. He does the chores, but mostly he likes to just sit out in the garden with them, and he lets them like go and dig up all the grubs. He enjoys gardening with them. And, I do all the chores. Like, I go and clean up all the poo. I collect the eggs. And now we've got this new coop. So he's like in the process of designing everything, building everything. He was excited. He got to drive a forklift and put it into our backyard.
There you go. We're so simple. Like I get to rent a forklift and drive it. Cool. I don't need it. I don't need much else.
Yeah, and he was really happy because I paid for it. So.
Oh yeah, that's it. He's living.
Oh yeah, he was so happy. Anytime he's like, "I need a new tool," and I'm like, "No." He's like, "But I could build this for the chickens." I'm like, okay. So it's kind of like our thing. We can bargain with each other with it.
That's pretty cool. What was it other than the coop? So tell me about the coop and the plans, and what are some things that you learned you needed in this coop as pertaining to, different than any of the other ones you had?
So I'm getting old. I don't like to admit it, but I'm tired of bending over and crawling into the coop we have. And
same. That was one reason for walk-in coop.
I was like, I need something I can walk into. And we did buy a walk-in coop, but I'm at a weird height. Like, I'm barely 5'4", and he's 6 feet, so he couldn't even get into this coop if he tried, because it was like maybe like 5'11". But the supports and everything, I was banging my head on it, and I just didn't like it. And it was good enough for what we needed at the time, but now I want something better. I want something long term. I'm tired of them freezing in the winter. I'm tired of them just overheating in the summer. So we decided we wanted something better. So we bought this beautiful coop. It's insulated. It's lovely. It looks like, just a nice shed. Nobody's going to know if they walk into our backyard. The big
chicken
thing
house.
Is,
you got a chicken kingdom going.
Yeah, it's like Cluckingham Palace. It's gorgeous. and we're cheap people. So we had to go and pick out like stuff to put on the floor. So we went to go look at the tile, and it was really expensive for like the roll-on vinyl. But we found like the stick-on tiles for clearance. It's marble. It's gonna look like something out of like Goodfellas. The house in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Like, it's so tacky and everything. That's what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be like Italian, like American chic. It's gonna be beautiful. And with the bird flu, we started getting really nervous with the run because our run is not covered. We have deer netting over the top of the run, but that is starting to break down. And I'm kind of tired of walking in it, and just like, I don't want my neighbors to think that like we're dirty people is the big thing.
Gotcha.
So we're going to cover a run, and we're actually going to build a chunnel between the old run and the new one. And we took the idea for the Chunnel from Backyard Rancher. If you ever
Okay.
get a chance to like look at his stuff, he's got this really nice Chunnel system where like the top's open, and like I figured if I could fence off part of that Chunnel, I could use that as like a brooder box, like let the newbies go in there and be integrated that way.
That makes
But
so much sense.
But also, if I have like a sick bird that I want to reintegrate into the flock, they can still be there with their friends and we ease the stress of everything. So we've been slowly designing that. I know we haven't been posting a lot of Coop content because we're really in like the designing phases.
Mhm.
But we got to step up the pace a bit because I got to get these chicks out of my house.
Got you. So it's like, is that the green one we've been seeing?
Yeah, that's the
yeah.
new green one. Yeah,
That thing is
it's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. It's like a little summer cottage.
It is. And listen, if you guys are doing content creation at all, talk to your tax people because that's my office now. I'm gonna write that off on my taxes.
Mm.
Like that's what people need to start thinking about. If you're doing content creation at all, your expenses, start thinking about what you have. And we bought the biggest coop we could possibly afford. And that's something else you need to do when you're a beginning chicken keeper or even a seasoned one. I mean, chicken math. That's like
Every
the theme
time.
of today. It gets you every time. And I'm like,
Every time.
but you've graduated to like chicken algebra because you've got like the duck, you've got the pigs, you got the ponies. I'm watching
Yeah,
what
it's
you're
a
doing. I'm
lot.
like,
It's a lot. I don't want to be an enabler, but I'm having the time of my life over here. It's like I started out with 2 chickens in COVID, and just like that, I'm up to 56. I think we counted yesterday. It was 56 animals. My baby girl, my daughter, she was like, "How many do we have?" And I'm like, "Let's count. Let's go count." So we counted everything, and we had these rescue chicks from the school. We had 11 of those, and out of all 11, I think I got 6 roos in there. So we got 11 of those. We got goats, ponies, pigs, ducks, dogs, cats. I mean, good God, it's a lot of stuff over there.
I'm just gonna say you're brave for the ponies because I used to train racehorses and ponies we wouldn't mess with them. They're too smart.
They are
too smart.
man, they're like kids with food driven children. It's crazy.
Yeah, 800-pound food driven children.
Exactly. Like we interviewed Concrete Cowgirl, and she's been raising horses and around horses since she was about 6. And she said, the lower to the ground, the closer to the devil. Boy, them ponies are going to give you a run for your money.
I'm going to say the same thing about short girls. We're closer to hell for a reason. So.
That's it. But the relationship is exciting.
I know. It is.
They love you like none other.
It's like dating. It really is. Like, it's like, you know, they get what they're going to get and they're going to push you until they get what they want.
Every time.
Yep.
Love it. You feel my pain.
Oh, I do. 100%.
Right. When you started raising baby chicks, did you have a brooder or did you just jump right into hatching, and how did that go?
We had a shower.
Okay. Another first.
I mean, my husband talks about redneck engineering all the time. We were like, okay, we've got the shower. It's not usable because we inherited our house.
Mm-hmm.
And when we inherited our house, we unfortunately inherited all the problems. So we ended up taking the shower pan out of the shower, and we were like, where are we going to put these birds? Like, we had no idea what we were going to do with them. And we finally said, no, let's just put them in the shower. So we got like a big dog crate, like the bottom of it, and just put that in the bottom of the shower. And we did use a heat lamp. I know a lot of people like flip out about that, but I was home. It was pandemic. It's not like I was going out. I didn't have anything to do. I would just sit in there and just watch the chicks and deal with the heat lamp and make sure it wasn't going to explode or anything. But that's what we did. We raised them in the shower. Now the second round, I've been working with a company called Rent a Coop.
Yeah,
and they are my neighbors. Like,
wow, that's crazy. How lucky.
They're like a block and a half from my house.
Wow.
And
so how did they find you? I'm sorry. I know I'm made of questions now. How did they find you?
I actually approached them. Sorry, I have to adjust these headphones. They're not mine. They're huge. So I always look for the Maryland chicken people because I try to organize like flappy hours with people who are local. So we like go to local bars and hang out and interact. And I happened to see that they said Germantown, Maryland. That's like maybe 25 minutes from here.
Mm-hmm.
And I started talking with them back and forth, and they were like, "Oh, our warehouse is in Frederick." And I was like, "Cool," because that's like right down the street from where I'm at. And so I was able to like just get in contact with them. We've been talking back and forth. I've had them over my house before.
Wow.
But they ended up giving me a brooder to try out when they found out I was going to get chicks. Originally, I was going to get 3 chicks. I ended up with 5.
Of course.
Well, the minimums. The place I went was the minimums, and you had to get them. And it's a beautiful little brooder box. I've actually used it more as like a medical tent for like sick chickens than I have for chicks because they outgrow stuff really quick and they want to fly. But I'm right now I'm using it for my plants because it's just it's so handy. So I mean, if you guys ever get a chance, check them out. They have so many great products. I highly endorse them. They don't even pay me. Like that's how much I like them.
They do. I love their water. The water system I bought from them, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
It still is great. I saw the box, the new boxes. They sell out so fast. They have the red boxes, and they look like little barns, which is cool for the brooder boxes. And man, they got a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff.
And they take feedback so well. Like if you say anything like, "Hey, I wish it would do this. I wish it would do that," they really take what we have to say as people who are using it versus just testing it. And just to be able to have that conversation with them. But they are some of the nicest people. But they're my neighbors, so I thought that was really neat. And
That is really cool. I wish I had neighbors that had cool stuff.
and this time with like the found chick, they're in a dog crate right now, like one of those floatable dog pens. Like I have them right behind me right now, and they're actually being very quiet. And I'm a little suspicious.
We gotta be. It's like a toddler. Why are you so quiet? What are you doing?
I know. And with the hatching eggs, I have never hatched eggs. I know nothing. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going.
None of us do. That's why we kind of are all friends because we steal from each other.
Yeah, and so I'm going to candle them tonight because apparently that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to see if they're developing or not. And she's been pretty nice. Like I'll go underneath her and get like the eggs from the rest of my girls. And Princess Leia actually sits next to her and guards her, and doesn't let anybody near her. And when she gets up to go and like take her little dust bath and like get something to eat, Princess Leia will go and lay on her eggs and keep them warm. It's so cute.
She's like a surrogate. It's like the perfect nanny hen.
She's a good babysitter. I'll tell you what, she's the best.
That's pretty cool, man. It's really nice to see how those birds interact with each other and they show their own personalities. So people are like, oh, just chickens. They're not. They really actually have thoughts.
Yeah, they're very smart. I don't think people realize how smart they are. I didn't until I got them, and I'm a school teacher, so watching them do certain things, I'm kind of like, whoa, like my 4 and 5-year-olds could do the same thing. They can count.
Got you.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And they like routine, just like all of us.
They do. Tell me how has that helped with mental health, or do they help with stress or anxiety or anything?
Oh my God. So being a teacher, it's hard right now. It's rough. I'm not ungrateful for my job, but there are days that are harder than others. And just coming home and being able to throw snacks at them and just sit with them, and they'll jump up on my lap, they'll cuddle me. I know not everybody has that experience with chickens. That's just how my girls happen to be. I have absolute love bugs. Like days I'm feeling really cruddy, nothing's better than going out there with a beer and just sitting there in silence and just watching them peck and like have a good time. Yeah, they fight with each other. They're like children.
Yeah.
But it's not as complicated. And I was on a live one time for TikTok, and the flocks were integrating, and you would see like Leia and Blue, they were sisters, and they were fighting at each other. They had their little manes up, and I was like, "Put your mane away!" I felt like I was a fool for like separating them, put them in different corners, and they just have to work things out for themselves. But I know that it really is something that I look forward to when I get home. My husband does too. It has forced us to be outside more because we wouldn't be outside. We'd be probably sitting in the house just staring at our phone, doom scrolling, instead of just sitting outside and enjoying things. It's made us get more in touch with like our food system.
Yeah.
We started our garden. We're really aware of what's going on. I've been learning how to do canning
Okay.
All the little granny like hobbies that people talk about, I have.
Yeah. Now you're doing it right. You'll be baking bread in no time.
and my mom, she grew up in Kansas City on a dairy farm. So my grandmother was laughing her butt off at me when I'm like, oh yeah, I got to take my chicken to the vet. She's sick. She's like, what? Like, but it just watching them and like getting more in touch with like being able to relax has been really good. And I highly recommend it to everybody. If you get a chance to go and visit chickens or hang out in somebody's yard, as long as you're doing it like safely, like make sure to spray your shoes. It's
Right.
so much fun, and it really changes people. Because when I have people come over and they sit with the chickens, they're totally different when they leave. They're just on a really zen level, and it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to see
It's like
that.
that woosah comes over you.
Yeah.
My dad hates getting dirty, like his clothes dirty. Yesterday he was at my house. We were just sitting in the backyard and the ponies walked up on him and he was just talking to him. And I was like, man, this is dope. Like, you know what I mean? He wasn't too much minding the dust back there.
Because they're just big dogs. I mean, you're just sitting there, you're scratching their heads, and they're like loving it, rubbing on you, and you don't even realize how dirty they are. It's just like it's soothing. It's good for your soul. It's like that touch the grass kind of moment that people always tell me to go do. I'm like, I touch grass all the time. Do you? You know?
It's different. It's different when you almost like you're being pulled outside in a positive way, and you get a little more connected. And like you said, chickens are a gateway. It's not just animal math when it comes to chicken math. You start to want to grow stuff and just be a little more health conscious, even if it's because you wanted to plant something.
Yeah, and I mean, plant math makes chicken math look like nothing.
Yeah, you said that, and I'm on post, and I was like, nope, I'm not gonna do it because I'm gonna end up planting apple trees.
That's actually in our plan. If you want to do something like that, you need to start looking at your local state agriculture because they have grants for that. There's all sorts of money involved with that. The USDA gives out grants for you to go and plant things. So if you're sitting there going, I want to do this, it's too expensive, go and check out that stuff. Like they'll pay you for it. Like
I will be doing that this weekend. That'll be my research project for tomorrow.
I mean, like, I'm okay. Hey, government, you want to give me a free apple tree? Heck yeah, I'm down. Let's go.
I do want them to do that. I would love for that to happen. How hard is it to find? And I know you come from an education background, but how hard is it for, I guess, you as like a layman person to find those types of that type of information, grants and funding and stuff like that, even if it's for backyard projects?
It's literally just a Google search. Like I said, I'm a cheap person. We like being frugal.
Same. I'm part of that crew. Please don't let all the animals and stuff fool you. I am that guy. I'm frugal. That's what I call
exactly. And you know, being smart with our money, especially in this economy, is like a huge deal. Like just finding things. But if you go on Google, your state grants, agriculture, it'll be there. I've been in touch with my extension office. Like I've been watching like their website and like I follow them on Facebook. And what they do is they tend to put up like what's going on, what grants are going on. It's just usually like a quick infographic. And if you are relying on the algorithm, you're going to miss it. So you need to go and like check their page. But there's all sorts of money out there that they'll give you to be able to farm and to be able to homestead. You can even look into homestead acts to get breaks on your taxes for your house. It just depends on like your local ordinances. But these are things that people should be looking for. I just happen to like be like, no, I wonder if there's a grant because in education everything's grant based. It's nobody wants to pay us, so we have to search for our own money. Yeah, I mean I do too, but you know that's just unfortunately the nature of the beast. But if you know that there's something out there, because there's a program for just about anything if you really think about it. So if you're interested in certain types of chickens, you can get in touch with the Livestock Conservancy. And Marissa knows a lot more about that, but because of hearing her talk about it, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go and check this out. Following people on social media, like I've learned the most from TikTok. I know that like that seems really weird, but I learned something new every day from TikTok.
I do. TikTok and IG, YouTube, man, come on. That's like going to college.
It is. I'm like, where was this when I was in college? Because I would have been a better student, you know? I would know so much more. And they have all sorts of stuff. You can just like look up anything on social media and be able to find links to those types of things.
No, I appreciate that information. I mean, this is definitely going to be one of those cutout clips that we put up because there's so many people that want to get into it, but they're like, oh, I don't have the money. I know it may get expensive, but these are some of those hacks that we need. So we appreciate that. Sorry to make you work on your Saturday.
I'm a teacher. I'm always on, right? I don't take days off.
My mom's an English teacher. Please don't let me conjugate a vowel wrong while I'm speaking.
I upset one of my teachers because somebody was just speaking in like the vernacular, and somebody corrected him, and like I turned around without missing a beat. I was like, "We do not gatekeep language in this classroom. You knew what they meant." And like that teacher walked in right as I said that, and I was like, "Oh God." My coworker's gonna be so mad at me.
They'll be okay.
It's real life. It's the music classroom. We don't worry about things like that. We just worry about music and culture and having a good time.
That's it. I love that, man. I love that the garden. What are you guys growing in the garden right now?
We just got Brussels sprouts, which I'm actually excited about because when I was a kid, they were disgusting, and now as an adult, I'm like, these are awesome.
I swear, same with me. I had some at a restaurant probably about 4 years ago, right? And I was like, wait a minute, is this a thing I was running from my whole life? These are delicious.
Because I remember them tasting like feet when I was a kid. I was like, these are the worst things in the world, and now they're like great. I'm like, yeah, I didn't understand why my mom liked them so much. Now I get it.
I do. I think too, the TV shows then they used to be like Brussels sprouts. Ugh. So I thought they were nastier probably than they were.
No, they really were that nasty.
It did taste like dust. They're delicious now though.
Yeah. And I was really excited to find them. We're getting peppers. With my background, my family's from Italy. And so I got the type of tomatoes that we can make sauce with, like proper Italian sauce.
Cool. Yeah.
And I'm really pumped about that. Peppers to make salsa, because why not? We're growing strawberries, we're growing garlic. We're just growing just a little bit of everything. I'm not good with plants. My husband's the plant guy.
Okay.
So each year we've just been adding like 1 or 2 extras to our garden, so it's not overwhelming. Like if you're starting out, like you don't have to go all in. You're gonna want to, but you don't have to. And I think people forget that because like you're just so excited and you just want all the plants and you want all the chickens. It's like you don't have to go all in. You can hold back just a little bit and it'll be okay. It'll probably be easier on you in the long run.
I think you're right. I started out with 2 potatoes. Now they started sprouting. I got excited. So I'm like, wow, I'm going to have a bunch of potatoes.
You're like, I'm a master gardener. I got this.
Right. Don't know what I'm doing. I posted a picture. Somebody was like, you probably need to add some topsoil to that now. And I got like 10 comments. I was like, I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do next.
I'll listen to anybody. You got good advice. I'm down. I'm all about it. It's nice to learn from other people who have a little bit more experience. Please don't tell me how to eat my chickens because I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that either.
No, but like if you're gonna sit there and give me good advice, like, oh, maybe if you add this, like this will happen. Like you'll get more, peppers this way. Or if you add this trap plant, I didn't know what the heck a trap plant was. I was like, okay.
What is that? I don't know what that is now.
So a trap plant is basically a plant that wants to either like bugs find really more desirable than like your tomatoes.
Okay.
Or it keeps away like rodents and rabbits. So like marigolds, everything hates marigolds for some reason. So if you plant them by your tomatoes and also like basil, apparently your tomatoes grow better. It worked last year. I had more tomatoes than I knew what to do with. And we ended up starting like a community exchange because everybody has like different things in their gardens. So we would trade off.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we're in the city, so it's like, why not?
That makes so much sense. I didn't know that. Now we have to grow some marigolds around my potatoes to keep everything out. Nobody wants those potatoes.
You do. You want those potatoes. Be proud of those potatoes.
That's cool. So I know you said Maryland, very close to DC. You're right in the middle of the city. But what is your go-to feed store? I grew up in New Jersey. I don't remember ever seeing a feed store.
Well, I grew up outside of Baltimore. So I grew up between Baltimore and Philly, just to give kind of a reference. I was still in Maryland.
We were neighbors.
Like, yeah, pretty much. And I used to go to Jersey a lot because I have family up there in South Jersey. But we would go to southern states when I was younger.
Okay.
And we also had local feed mills that we would go to. When I had that horse business, Tractor Supply didn't exist like in my area at all. And we ended up going to like this local feed store called the Mill, which is great. It's amazing. Moving out here, we go to the co-op. And the co-op has some really great feed, but I'm not paid to say this, but I'm a Purina person. I love all their products. Like, you can't convince me otherwise. My girls have done great on it. I do use Kalmbach as like a treat because I like their Hen House Reserve because it's got all little particles, and I don't feel like I'm like messing up their diet too much if I give that to them. But we're mostly Purina in our house, and we go. The cheapest place I've been able to find it has been Tractor Supply. I do know Walmart has been starting to sell chicken feed though.
Yeah, I noticed that
here.
too. Oh, you guys are catching up.
yeah. We're it's a little slow up here.
Right. No, and I actually am sponsored by Purina, but I don't take sponsorships that I don't believe in. So I saw a lot of different, like, everybody kind of got, not everybody, a lot of people got BlackYard Chickens at the same time. And some of the problems they were having, I wasn't having, you know what I mean? Like, I saw different, just nutritional things that were happening, a lot of fairy eggs or soft shells, deformed shells, chickens not laying when they weren't in molt. It was just a lot of different things. I never had those problems. I rarely have a sick chicken at all. So it's like, okay, it must be something has to be going on with the feed. And then when I visited them, I saw exactly how much effort they put into it. Because they're like, we're not making food for chickens that are being mass producing eggs. We're not making chickens that are like, industry meat birds. We're making food for pets that need to last a long time so their owners and pets can have a great experience with these birds. And that's kind of what they put into it.
Yeah, and you can tell. I mean, I haven't had problems when everybody was having that big egg crisis or whatever. We weren't having that. When that was happening, my girls were actually like in molt. So it was a little weird for them. And also, my girls are older. I have production hens. And if you know anything about them, they stop laying after about 2 years. Like, they really slow down because they age twice as fast as other birds because they're laying every single day. But we didn't have any of those problems. And your feed is your baseline nutrition. So, your flock is going to be different from my flock. My flock might need a little bit more protein. So I can sit there and supplement with like some grubs.
Yeah.
I can add in some sunflower seeds if they need like a little bit of extra caloric like intake. I also ferment the Purina feed. That's been the best feed that I found so far to ferment. And my girls love it. So they have like in their feeder, they have the pellets, and I use the crumbles to ferment.
Gotcha.
The girls absolutely love it. And I haven't had any, like, the major health problems I have are all genetics. It hasn't been anything to do with their feed. It's been their genetics.
Yeah. Anytime I've had an issue with the bird, it's always from a rescue bird. And it's usually from a bird that's been overproducing, and living in poor conditions. So I have like all my golden comets have come from a line of that, something like that come from an egg farm or in a very bad situation.
Yeah. And that breed, they're here for a good time. They're not here for a long time.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's what the fact Princess Leia and Blue are 4. They're basically, if you were to compare them to actual humans, they would be in their hundreds.
Yeah, that's golden girls, really. Me and he joked about that from City Chick. We like, these are really golden girls. They're old even when they're young.
I love Heath. He's so great.
Yeah. That is actually a person that stays not too far from me with some really nice stuff. Yeah, he's got some great products.
Yeah, you might want to talk to him, hit him up.
Yeah, for real. No, I have. He came to my house and everything. He was on my very first episode of Eggcellent Adventures.
I've seen you guys hanging out on TikTok, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I was closer because it would be fun.
He tried to steal my potbelly pig. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother episode. He's like, I want a pig. I don't know if I had time for a pig, but I really want a pig. What's his pig's name? Heath. Get away from my pig.
They're so cute, but like, I'm allergic to pork, so
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't know if like what to do.
But I am too. Like I'm allergic to pork. I don't eat pork. You know, I'm Muslim. I don't eat pork, but I'm actually like I get sick if when I tried to eat it before, and it was just not a good thing. But the pigs, I can hang around the pigs. I pet them. I boop them. It's it's boop in the nose. Like we have a great time.
Oh my goodness.
We have a great time.
And they're smart too.
Very. He broke out the first day we got him.
I believe that.
Yep. First day we got him, he broke out. I learned a lot about pigs in like 12 hours. I did research before we got him. It was a rescue, rehome. And man, he got out. He broke out the first day. I called the guy. I was like, hey, I'm just letting you know, I know I took this pig in good care. It's a rescue. I'm just letting you know he broke out. I don't know what's going to happen. He's like, oh no, you ain't that lucky. That pig will be back tonight. And he was.
That pig's teaching you. You don't need to research. He's teaching you.
Yep. He's like, did you feed him? I said, yeah. He said, oh, he'll be back tonight. So man, for all those wanting, if you hit chicken math and get to piglets, please research how to keep a pig safely outside. They will find a way out. It's like Prison Break.
Oh, Lord. I'm lucky. My chickens don't want to go anywhere. They just want to stay in the backyard. Thank God.
I wish I had that. So most of mine, a good percentage of them, the ones that don't like to stay inside the confines of safety and the fence that I built and paid for, have got picked off. I lost like 4 chickens in the last, like you've been seeing the fox videos. So that's what happened. I've been losing the fox. Yeah. What predators are in that area besides HOA people?
Oh, we don't have an HOA.
I was joking, but I know.
We don't have an HOA. That's probably a good thing, but we don't have an HOA. That right there is worth being in this neighborhood. Like, we don't have an HOA. Our biggest predators are hawks.
Okay.
We have a lot of issues with hawks, and don't listen to the Facebook groups. You cannot do anything to them. It is illegal. There's a big time fine, and it's federal time that you would be doing. It's not, pay the fine and you're okay. No, it's the Migratory Bird Act. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and then you never know what breed. Like, unless you're an avian specialist, you probably don't know what breed it is and what is going on with it, or if it's an endangered species or not. Yeah,
and so the hawks have been the biggest issue. There's no way to deter them. They're gonna do what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
we just have resigned ourselves to screaming hawk and running them into the coop.
I mean, it works. Does it work?
No, I have 2 that are really dumb and run towards the hawk.
Are they bantams? I'm joking.
No, they are not. They are.
I have bantams, and then I've never had a bantam with a high IQ.
I have cinnamon queens, and I will never have them again. They're
pretty, right?
No, they're not pretty. They're mean. They're just mean. They're bullies, and the IQ's in single digits.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I love them dearly, but I'll never have that breed again. And that's for sentimental reasons. I just not.
I got you. I've learned the prettier the bird, the lower the IQ.
We won't ever have silkies or Polish.
I just hatched silkies. I literally have silkies in the incubator right now.
I saw your daughter was so excited. Oh my gosh.
She's so happy.
They're adorable. They're too
much
work. They're too much work.
They are. They're divas. They're getting in their own coop and all of that, so I can try to protect them the best way I can.
Yes. And the Polish with the I have crested birds. I have a cream crested leg bar, but that's not really what they're called. They're cream leg bars, but they've got the crest. And she's got beautiful hair. She's a bit of a dope. But she's a diva in that way. She's the one. If you hear somebody making loud sounds, it's her.
It's her. She wants attention. Look at me.
She's looking beautiful. I'm doing all the beautiful stuff, and we're like, stop, be quiet. It's 6 a.m. Shut up.
Relax, please. You're not even a rooster. Relax.
Oh, and she crows.
She identifies.
She does, and so does her sister, who is I call her a Mars bar. She's a Copper Marin's crossed with a leg bar.
Got you.
So she's an olive egger, but she has spurs. She crows, but they only crow at the mildest inconvenience. So it's not it's not like there's danger. It's just my food is low. or
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't feel like I have enough treats, or you're not moving fast enough. And it's like, oh, come on, ladies, come on.
Got you. It sounds like my mystery chickens. We got a batch of mystery chickens that were supposed to be Easter eggers. They have combs and everything. The hatchery didn't know what they were. They refunded me my money, but I don't know what they are. But one of them is our head hen, Henrietta, and she's like that. Any minor small thing is like the end of the world.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
they're they're divas.
Yep. She crows. She does everything like a boy does.
Yeah, yeah. I have some. My girls, it turned into Wonder Woman's Island here for a little bit before I put that down because I was tired of like seeing that go on. I'm like, this is a family show, guys. We gotta stop.
Right. Yeah. Oh, she does that too. She does that too. She was, oh, the chickens are fighting. That's not fighting. And you're a girl. I'm not going to get into your pronouns, but I see what's going on back here.
Yeah. It's a hot mess. This is a hot mess.
It is.
So if you're getting into chickens, just be aware that like no matter what you expect, it's going to be way crazier than what you expect.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just when you think that it couldn't get any weirder, it does. So don't even have that thought. Just be like, no, what? I'm content with the weirdness, and this is how it's going to be.
Cool. Craziness. What is one thing that you use a lot that you didn't think you would, or something like a go-to maybe tool or item that you use a lot? Because for me, it's zip ties.
Oh, we live redneck engineering. We live by zip ties here.
Yes, get the job done right.
I don't have time for duct tape. It is zip ties. Probably the big thing here is how useful the kitty litter scoop can be. It's not just for scraping poo. I mean, like sometimes like you got to move a hen out of the way because it's just not moving.
Or a broody hen.
Oh, I'm lucky. Knock on wood. I'm knocking on wood. My broodies don't really attack me.
Same.
I've been very lucky with that. I don't know if it's just how I approach them. It'll probably change like next week when somebody else decides to go broody because it's a disease. They all catch it. But the kitty litter scoop has been amazing because like I'm like, what on earth is this? I don't know what this is, and like picking it up with the scoop has been the best thing I can do. I'm not touching certain stuff with my hands. I know there's going to be food, but like sometimes like they lay like the soft shelled eggs and they break. So that's been the best thing for me, I think. So invest in a good kitty litter scoop. It makes cleaning out your coop a lot easier too.
I love that. Or dustpan. I use dustpan sometimes too. I have both outside.
Oh,
absolutely right.
Also have like your own set of coop shoes that you don't bring in your house. Like
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, it's I do threaten my chickens with my sandals. I do have a sandal, like a little house shoe. I can
I understand.
That's one of my coop shoes. So
I always say this, so I don't mean to offend anybody. Let me look right in the camera before I say this line. Okay, I think that Italian moms and black moms have the go-to sandal, and they will get you in line quickly.
And spoons.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, wooden spoons. That's it. Yep, that's what got me in line. Wooden spoons kept me in line as a youngin.
Know what though? Like, it's amazing how like so similar cultures are, and it just cracks me up. Because like I'll be sitting there talking to friends, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this happened," and like I'm like, "Oh, that happened too," and they were like, "Wait a minute, what?" Like it's just so interesting how similar we all kind of grew up, and parenting techniques of when we were young. Because that was not today. I know it does in some places, but not. It doesn't really up here anymore.
Right. That makes so much sense, man. I really appreciate you for joining us. I do want to ask you this last question before we let you go. Okay. What's one piece of advice that you would give yourself before you got those first few chickens?
Have a first aid kit. Have a good community of people. Because when you're first starting out, you really are on your own, and it's hard, it's daunting, and don't be afraid to ask for help. There are very few stupid questions out there. Very few. So don't be afraid to ask people. And if somebody doesn't know, somebody knows somebody else. So if you build yourself a community and have like a basic first aid kit, I think that would be the best bit of advice I can give anybody, because you shouldn't feel alone, and it is scary. And if you don't have that material there when like you need it becomes more stressful.
Absolutely. Thank you. That was a perfect answer. I will say one thing. Since I've gotten my big dog, the hawks, they circle, but they never swoop.
Yeah. our hawks don't care. They
Doesn't matter.
yeah. These are like Baltimore hawks. Like they'll swoop at you. They don't care. You're in their way. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. They've come at us a couple times. So,
oh wow, that's a bold bird there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like they're hungry. I get it. They're hungry. I'm like, but could you just go eat the bunnies that are out front, or like the little songbirds that are in the trees? Like leave my girls alone.
I love it. I love it. Well, hopefully they're watching this podcast, and they do.
Oh, I'll make sure to play it in the backyard so they hear.
Right. At least it's not like Shoshana. She that we interviewed. She grew up in Alaska, and eagles used to come down, and it might be 50 at a time.
No, they're huge. People don't realize how big they are.
7-foot wingspan is taller than me plus somebody else.
Yeah, that's scary. That's terrifying.
Crazy. Once again, thank you so much. I appreciate all the information. Keep making those amazing videos. We definitely got to get you back on the next season too.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks again. This has been another great episode, an excellent episode, another adventure with COVID Cluckers and your boy Reece. Check out more information on our animal rescue, youth program, and podcast on our website,